So how I almost killed my grandson and myself and probably everybody else on the road. Part 2. So the movie I was thinking about was Get Out. Y'all probably figured it out by then. That was one of the realest moments I had that I can remember after I look back on how it actually happened. When I actually just sat in my thoughts and tried to figure out what the hell. That was the image that I got that I kept going back to. That's what I remember. Just being there and not being there until I just wasn't there, until it finally wore off and I was back to myself. But it was like in segments, just blinking in and out. I remember going down the ramp of the freeway. I remember seeing the sun starting to set in front of me. And as I went down the ramp of the freeway, I remember the sun just dissipating. But it wasn't dissipating because it was going away. It was dissipating because I was going away. And somehow, with all the curves and all the traffic and all the lanes and split ups of freeways and to get on the highway and to stay on the local, I was able to follow. I don't remember none of that. But again, if you go back to part 1, I was saying that I was there and not there. As you go deeper into this psychosis and you're not there anymore, was when I began to slow down. I was talking to my grandson about the things that happened because I couldn't remember what happened. So I had to figure out details from him. So as I went down the ramp, I went blank. As the sun dissipated, it was me dissipating, falling into that sunken place. And I remember waking up to the police pushing my head off of the steering wheel and asking me, was I okay and if I needed some help. I remember them unbuckling my seatbelt. I remember seeing my grandson in the front seat and him just looking so scared and nervous, petrified. Next thing I remember after that, I remember seeing my surroundings, blinked out. What I remember after that is them touching me to put my hands in handcuffs behind me, to blinked out. And what I remember next is sitting down into the police car and the handcuffs being so loose that they actually fell off of my wrist. And I blinked out. And I remember after that is being inside of a exam room and someone sticking a needle in my arm to draw blood. And I blinked out. And what I remember after that is sitting inside of a jail cell and them slamming the door. And I blinked out. Now, during this whole time, I'm pretty sure they told me to walk this way, and I walked that way. I was not carried. I walked everywhere I was supposed to go, and I answered questions, and I must have gave consent of things. However, I don't remember anything but those little blink spots where I actually just kind of came back in and blinked back out. That moment of that day stays with me every day because it's something that I've never experienced before. I've always been that responsible person that had it all together, had all the answers to things. I did all the right things. I lived clean. I raised my children clean. They had clean, good lives. They made mistakes, but they was good kids and good men as they grow up, and I had it together. Then I get this old and sitting in a jail cell thinking about, how did I get here? Or something else. I remember talking to my grandson and him saying to me that anytime he drove with me, the excellent driver that I've always been, he always got nervous about going down on the freeway. Grandma, make sure you buckle up. Grandma, those cars coming too close. Grandma, slow down. Grandma, look at them. They're driving right on the side of you. Pull up or slow down. Let them go ahead. They're getting too close. And I know that he did that because of the fear of that situation. He no longer trusted me, and that crushed me. Took some time to get that back, but we're good now. But I say all of this to say, no matter what kind of medication you're taking, you gotta read all of those side effects. And you have to sit still in the moment to make sure that you're not experiencing any of them. Because there may be times where you don't even know that that's the side effect that you're having. So be very careful about how you do things. I don't see a bus on this route. Be very careful about taking medications regardless of, what kind it is. And sit in a moment and see how your body feels when you take that, so that you will understand whether or not if this is something that is for your body or not. Look, life be life, and we all got a story to tell. But if you ever experience something like this or anything close to this, comment. Tell me your side. This was an experience that I would never forget. And I'll never make that mistake again.